Since the creation of the internet, every industry has been turned upside down. Amazon changed retail. Uber changed transportation. YouTube changed video forever. With the invention of crypto, money is next. At the speed technology is growing, the future of money and securities are digital. 9 out of 10 millennials do not trust banks. The value of money relies on trust. Government debt is higher than it's ever been before. Central banks continue to print money. Fortunately, the world has a new solution. Experts predict in 7 years, 10% of the world's economy will be in crypto-based assets. Today, 1 billion people have access to the financial industry. Crypto is about empowering the other 6 billion people by banking the unbanked. Do not underestimate this. Do you wish you invested in Google, Amazon, or Netflix before anyone ever knew about them? $1,000 invested in Netflix turned to over $500,000. At Token Metrics, we help you find the next Netflix. Token Metrics users think differently about investing. They are early adopters looking for financial freedom. They are people who see a better world. A world without international borders. We believe in a world where everyone has access to the next financial revolution. At Token Metrics, we are creating a bridge that gets you to that revolution. We will help you make sound investments in this new world. The world's best investors do not rely on their intuition. They embrace technology and AI to invest. Token Metrics uses AI to find invisible patterns in data to help you invest and trade in crypto. In the past, we have used our data-driven system to achieve financial freedom. Now, we are giving you the keys. We created Token Metrics to be the only platform you'll ever need to make money in crypto. We give you AI and access to crypto experts at the best price. The moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond.
Disclaimer. Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
All right. Happy Sunday. Well, I should say Bloody Sunday. Hello, crypto family. How are you? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all survived during this huge correction. I mean, I know I woke up and basically in less than 12 hours, the whole market had dumped 20% or more. I mean, but if you've been in crypto for a while, you know this is part of the course. This is your typical correction in crypto. But guess what? We have our experts here to share their insight on what happened during this correction. We'll cover Dogecoin. We'll cover Bitcoin. We'll cover everything in crypto. Your weekly show. Tune in for Token Metrics Live. Hey, Bill. Hey, Forrest. How are you guys doing?
Great. How about you?
I mean, huddle. Bill,
Hi. Thanks for having us on the show. How you doing?
What is going on? I mean, as we like to say in crypto, there's never a dull day in crypto. I mean, because we had the show planned the whole week to talk about Dogecoin, right? But 12 hours later, Dogecoin gets relegated to second or third option to talk about Bloody Sunday. I mean, what happened, Bill? What's going on?
Well, let's dive into the market update. So before I get started, last week, everyone was asking me or saying to me, Bill, I'm upset because the market's not moving. And now everyone is going, Bill, I'm upset because the market is moving. And this is classic for bull markets. Bull markets bore you to tears. They rally, they suck you in, they drop you, you get out, and then it truly explodes. So for the market update this week, we will start with something you hear in the intro every week from Ian Balina. Money is next. Okay. The future of money trade is happening, and it is happening, and it is so big. People don't yet understand how big it is, but that's okay, because I'm going to do something called pound the table. Let's start with Bitcoin. Okay, I'm now using certain types of charts called log scale charts. Don't worry, it's a mathematical adjustment to help me understand parabolic moves better. At the end of the day, 50K was support in Bitcoin. As soon as it went down there is a long list of people, most likely led by over-the-counter market makers, who have got to just take in all the Bitcoin they can for the next eventual big buyer. Now, Dogecoin, right? This is a joke, right? Wrong. This is not a joke. Sometime in the distant future, we will all sit around and say, remember when the future of money trade got started with Dogecoin and XRP? Dogecoin has actually done this for the second time. Okay. It is mooning. People are going to the grocery store. They realize their money doesn't go far enough. And you know what? Even if they don't, they have discovered crypto as something that generates income and moons. Now, as is classic in a bull market, things that are perceived by the community as low quality rally first, faster, harder, and longer than anybody suspects. So frequently in major life-changing bull markets, the people inside, the experts in the field, turn their nose up at the stuff that rallies the most. Same thing happened in stocks in 2009 and 2010 with real estate. It rallied. People thought the market was nuts. 10 years later, they had a different opinion. Okay, XRP. Congratulations to the XRP army for fighting back against Uncle Sam and mooning their coin. It got to resistance at $1.78, the same way Dogecoin got to resistance around 35 cents. I would suspect these two coins, even though they're leaders, would probably be done for now. I guess if by the time you watch this video, Dogecoin is at $1, then I would be an idiot. However, I suspect this is a case of lower quality stuff that no one owns. So when I say lower quality, it doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means no one has it as 30% of their portfolio. Therefore, there were no sellers when all the buyers came in. Very simple. Now, let's move to ETH. Meanwhile, as everyone is doing all kinds of gymnastics everywhere in cryptocurrencies, somehow everyone has forgotten about ETH. Luckily, ETH held support around, 2075, and it's probably in a range between 2100 and 2500, and I'm okay with that. Because one day you're going to wake up and ETH is going to do what Dogecoin did, because they're going to restrict the supply of this coin, and everyone is going to realize that this is the cryptocurrency of the future. And it's okay, that everyone gets bored to tears waiting for it. Because like I said at the start of the show, first it's too boring, then it's too exciting. In ETH, we're in the too boring phase. The too exciting phase likely comes this summer. Okay, let's take a look at the market cap chart. I won't read every number to you, but Dogecoin has a market cap of $44 billion. If my math is correct, that is larger than the market cap of Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash combined. By the way, Bitcoin Cash has a DeFi application running on it. And I'm sure if there was a DeFi application running on top of Cardano or Polkadot, I'm sure the earth would crack from the rocket that would take off into outer space. That would be the crypto market. Dash isn't even on the chart. That would be the reserve currency of Latin America and a part of the future of money. Now, a brief bulletin from the world of economics. Let me give it to you simply. When you go to the grocery store, milk started at $2, it went to $4, and like everything else, it'll 3x and probably wind up at $6 or $8 a gallon by the time it's over with. Economists at Morgan Stanley created this graph. If you can see the green dotted line, that is inflation today. Inflation is moving faster coming out of the 2020 recession than it did coming out of the 2001 and 2008 recessions. The printing press is running. It is not going to stop running. I have 20 pages of reports on my desk to back that up. The printing press is never going to stop running. Now, let's talk about Dash. Why? Well, because no one wants to talk about it except me, and I just keep pounding the table on it because the all-time high is 1,200, and everybody's all wound up because it goes and makes a big move somewhere between 250 and 350. My simple reaction to that is, who cares? A 15% fluctuation in something that's going to 10 or 20x does not matter. The Elliott wave work in this currency is powerful. 567 would be the next upside objective that I would expect as soon as the market settles down. Dash is the reserve currency of Latin America. Dash is a form of Bitcoin that is accepted as payment in U.S. fast food restaurants in Venezuela. There's no waiting for adoption with Dash. It's already been adopted. And you can't find it really if you look on the market cap chart. You got to scroll way down. Bitcoin Cash, the currency that everyone loves to hate, exploded from 500 to 1,200. The pullback to 950, somewhere in that area, is probably a buy. Why? Well, remember when I said in bull markets that sometimes the things that go up the most are the things that people don't own? Well, everyone seems to have bought Bitcoin. And I know there's a big Bitcoin Cash holder in Asia, but how many people have been actively buying Bitcoin Cash, a fast peer-to-peer payment network that you can build things on, dApps? Who owns this? Nobody. Who likes this? Nobody. They even get personal and they get negative on the person, Roger Ver, who is like the spokesperson for this. So everyone is picking on this. And wouldn't it be hysterical if, and I'll be the one that says it first, what if everyone out there bought the wrong Bitcoin? Now that would be funny. And that would be classic bull market, right? Yes, I bought Bitcoin, hedge funds, corporates, etc. What would happen if the 10x was somewhere else in the Bitcoin universe, like Dash or Bitcoin Cash? So if you think about it, a correction in Bitcoin Cash from 1240 to 900 or from 1240 to 750 or whatever, is that a crisis? Should you be upset about that, or should you be happy because the market gave you a shot at a pullback versus just taking off and never coming back? Speaking of taking off, let's talk about Litecoin. Yes, I'm back on Litecoin again. I can't say no one's talked about Litecoin because I've been talking about it for a year. Litecoin, like Dash and Bitcoin Cash, are available inside payment apps, I believe, like PayPal. Bitcoin transaction fees are rising. Litecoin is a fast version of Bitcoin that doesn't have high transaction costs. Litecoin may be just starting a breakout around 293. I suspect the ultimate target of the move could be as high as 900. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at Litecoin versus Bitcoin. I know it's been a volatile week, folks, but assuming Litecoin doesn't turn around and crash between now and 7 p.m. when the markets close for the week, Litecoin is just now breaking out of a very bullish formation versus Bitcoin. That means if Bitcoin goes up or if Bitcoin goes sideways, Litecoin has so much room to go up. How much real estate is there in this space for Litecoin to catch up to Bitcoin? Nano, introduced to us by our colleague Forrest. Also a component of the future of money, a digital payment system. I got this in our Token Metrics weekly report for the weekend on Friday, just in time for this to 1x. This was 112 on the market cap chart. It's now at 79. 13.6 is resistance. I don't see any reason why, assuming this trade is orderly, that it can't glide itself to $22 over the next month. The future of money is next. Money is next. Ian Balina says it every week, slowly. Money is next. Money is happening now, and a 15 to 20% dip in money, digital currency, is an opportunity, not a disaster. And that is the market update.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So if you enjoyed the market update, please smash the like button, subscribe, share this video with a friend, and tell a friend to tell a friend that crypto is the future of money. Don't panic, hodl. This is part of the course. This is where you basically buy the dip, not financial advice. All right, so let's see if there are any comments here from our viewers. We already have almost 1,000 people tuned in from YouTube, from Facebook, from Twitter, from everywhere. Crypto family, good to have you here. Somebody says, "And the crowd goes wild. Bill is the best. Just loaded up on more BNT, Bancor." All right, that's what's up. Nano has been dealing with an ongoing DOS attack. Okay, interesting. Market update is already so epic. All right. Okay, so let's segue straight into the next part of the show. Forrest, take it away with the hidden gems.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, yeah, all good.
Perfect. All right, so first up, we have a project called Sardine, and I wanted to include this one, even though they don't even have a token, nor have they even announced any plans for a token, but it just demonstrates what we actually look at at Token Metrics and the projects that we're trying to keep an eye on far in advance of them even having a token launching. Even if they never actually launch a token, we still want to keep an eye on them because we want to be the first ones in. Sardine is a fraud prevention as a service. They're using AI to automate and improve fraud prevention by up to 5x. Now, I don't know if you watch any YouTube videos from Token Metrics or any cryptocurrency YouTuber, but it's full of impersonators, scammers, fraudsters. As crypto grows, fraud becomes a bigger issue. And it's an issue for just about every company involved in cryptocurrency, including Dharma, MoonPay, and others, which this Coinbase Ventures-backed project, Sardine, has already been working with and partnered with. So this is one that we're keeping an eye on far in advance of them even potentially having plans to decentralize and launch a token. Next up is EPNS. EPNS stands for Ethereum Push Notification Service, and it's a protocol for blockchain-based notifications that are platform agnostic and incentivized. One of the issues with Web 3.0 right now and smart contract networks is that navigating these decentralized applications is rather cumbersome right now. We have high gas fees. The user interfaces aren't great yet. It's kind of like how streaming was back in the mid 2000s. It was constantly buffering. It wasn't easy. The internet infrastructure wasn't fast enough to support it. But now you hop on Netflix and you're streaming, and it's a great experience. Well, EPNS is, in my opinion, critical infrastructure for improving the user experience of Web 3.0 through providing push notifications that wouldn't require you to have to sign up with a phone number or an email address, which would be an issue as far as privacy goes. So imagine you have a position in DYDX, or you've deposited Ethereum into a dApp like MakerDAO, and your position gets liquidated. Well, how would you know it gets liquidated? Well, right now you might have to sign up for a push notification with your email, Telegram handle, or phone number. Well, with EPNS, it would be decentralized, and you would be able to get that push notification immediately. One other thing about this project I want to draw your attention to, it has a $16 million market cap, and it's Binance Labs backed with this very strong team. So this is potentially a hidden gem. I believe the code review score went out on this this morning, earlier today. Now there are paying Token Metrics customers that pay for that score, so I'm not going to talk about it. I actually don't even remember what the exact score was, but this is a project that I'm keeping an eye on, given that it's such a low market cap and it's backed by Binance Labs. Next up, we have Virtue Poker, decentralized poker platform that uses the Ethereum blockchain and peer-to-peer networking to provide an online poker site that's safe and honest. If you know anything about online poker, you know that players, the biggest problem that plagues online poker right now is that players have to trust the platform that they're playing on not to cheat. The platform basically can cheat. They can see hole cards. They can see they can rig the deck. They can do whatever they want on the back end, and the players would not be able to detect that. They could slowly cheat players out of money. This has been an issue that has actually come to fruition. Platforms have been caught doing this in the past, and it's a massive issue. Virtue Poker seeks to solve that by bringing poker to the Ethereum blockchain and creating a trustless game. If so, that would be, if they achieve this, this would be the holy grail of all online poker platforms, which is a very large industry. I believe the online gaming industry, not just the poker industry, but the online gaming industry is $50+ billion and expected to grow at over 10% per year over the next several years. So this is a large industry. It's got a consensus. It's backed by Consensus as well as DFG Group. And most of the team formerly worked at Consensus. I believe they are planning a token launch sometime in April or May. So this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Next up is Integral. Integral is a DEX that is innovating to be, quote, the last DEX ever needed. According to them, Integral is a continuous vampire attack until all world liquidity is integrated by us. All right, so ITGR is the token. You can actually earn ITGR by depositing or providing liquidity on their DEX that is live right now, but the public sale launch is on April 22nd. I believe that'll last 10 to 14 days or something like that. But what they've done to innovate is that they're actually mirroring Uniswap and Binance exchange rates and liquidity, and then applying their own liquidity in a concentrated manner in order to provide the same rates and same liquidity that Uniswap and Binance has. That's extremely interesting. Whether or not it will actually work is to be determined, to be seen. They also have solved the issue of impermanent loss in a different manner than Bancor Network has. They've solved it by eliminating arbitrageurs and front runners by adding a 5-minute trading delay. So you put in a trade, it goes through 5 minutes from now. Now, obviously, that's not ideal for the user, but it makes it so that people cannot arbitrage or front run trades. Last up is Nodal. Nodal is attempting to be the world's largest ecosystem of connected devices, providing infrastructure, software, and access to data for the Internet of Things. This is, in a way, what they're trying to do is similar to Helium Network, but rather than using LongFi with the Helium mining devices, they are attempting to do this through Bluetooth low energy technology by connecting everybody's phone devices. So rather than a LongFi router, they're connecting, and they have an app for everybody's smartphone devices that can then create an IoT or an Internet of Things network. Now, I already know I'm going to get the question. Well, Nodal, that's a Helium competitor. What's that mean for Helium? Well, for one, Helium is very far ahead of this project, so this wouldn't make me entering as a competitor wouldn't make me bearish in any way on Helium. If anything, the fact that more players are entering the space proves out the concept that a distributed, decentralized IoT network is needed, and there's significant demand for it. So the fact that Helium is a first mover and has a first mover advantage in this space makes me actually more bullish on the space overall, as well as on Helium. Nonetheless, this is a space that obviously we're very bullish on with Helium. So it's one to keep an eye on for sure. And I'm very excited to see how it does in a code review. I believe you can actually download the app and start earning Nodal. Don't quote me on that, but the Nodal token is not trading yet. And that's the Token Metrics watch list this week. Ian, I think you might be muted.
Okay. Apologies. There we go. All right. Thank you, Forrest. So if you enjoyed that watch list, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and be sure to tune into tokenmetrics.com. We have that watch list every single week. Having that plus the code reviews, I think really gives you a better perspective in terms of what coins we like, because we show you that watch list probably every few weeks on YouTube, not really every week, but we have that every single week to our customers, right? So definitely join us at tokenmetrics.com. That being said, let's segue to the next topic. Okay, so the next topic, go to menti.com, MENTI.com. Use the code 39217525. That's 39217525. Time for question of the day. What did you do with the breakout star Dogecoin this week? The options are 1, I took profits. 2, I'm still hodling my Doge. 3, I bought some Doge. I'm not sure why. 4, I enjoyed watching Dogecoin pump. For me personally, I just enjoyed watching Dogecoin pump. Actually, we had somebody on our team, no lie. He told us he put in $300 into Dogecoin about 6 months ago, and it's now, well, prior to the correction, it was worth over $60,000. I mean, that is incredible. That's the power of crypto, but that's the power of Dogecoin. That's the power of a meme. So definitely want to see what people have to say about this. Forrest, what'd you do when you saw Dogecoin pump this week?
I thoroughly enjoyed watching Dogecoin pump from afar, and then I promptly consolidated a lot of my positions into Nano because I felt like because Dogecoin was pumping, as was other digital cash solutions like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, other very pumpable coins like Nano, which has a static supply. So it's very, very sensitive to increases in demand. I went in on Nano and it also pumped. Dogecoin was a fantastic indicator for other stuff this week too. But I'm very, very happy for the people that made a lot of money on Dogecoin. That's why a lot of us here are for the technology, but at the end of the day, a lot of us are here to make money. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah. We like those gains. All right, Bill, how about you? What'd you do when Dogecoin pumped?
Well, as an analyst, I was fortunate enough to call up our quant department and I said, hey, we made this future of money portfolio about 4 weeks ago. And, when I saw a Doge pump, I'm like, get this portfolio out and see how we were doing. The portfolio somewhere on Friday was up like 80% with big allocations to Dash, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. And I was like, oh my God, the future of money is happening. So whoever started it, whoever pumped Doge, whether you bought it and you made 61,000 or $6, congratulations. You may have kicked off the future of money.
All right. Yeah, because does anybody know what caused the pump? Was it Elon Musk? Was it just Robinhood crowd? Was it, anybody have any speculations as to what happened?
I think it was a mix of those two things. I think Elon Musk was pumping it a little bit. And then I think a lot of Robinhood traders jumped on board. And Robinhood actually, I believe, suspended trading on Dogecoin, which again, Robinhood traders keep getting beat up by Robinhood coming in and suspending trading at the worst possible moments.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what our audience has to say. Okay, so the winner is, wow, I enjoyed watching the Dogecoin pump. Okay, people just kind of sat back in awe and just enjoyed the fireworks. Then second option, I'm still hodling my Doge. Then third option, I took profit. Okay, great to see nobody bought the top. That's always good to see. All right, so tell us what you think. Do you think the audience is right? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Okay, off to the next segment. Thought of the week. Binance Coin, BNB, had over 710% gain in Q1. Does it have the potential to flip Ethereum? Is this possible? The options are 1, yes, 2, no, 3, maybe. So, Bill, what do you think? Do you think it's possible for Binance BNB to ever flip Ether?
No. Binance Coin.
All right. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Yeah, no. Okay. Back to you. Yeah, no. That's like saying, can a Las Vegas casino replace the banking system? Right. Like Binance Coin is great for trading, for speculating in altcoins, right? Are you going to buy anything in Binance Coin? Are they going to build the future of banking on Binance Smart Chain? I don't know, unless somebody's going to elect CZ Emperor of the Universe. I don't know, but I would say no.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest, how about you? What do you think?
Anything's possible in crypto, but I would agree with Bill. I do not think BNB is going to flip Ethereum. I actually think that it'd be far more likely for Ethereum to flip a Bitcoin, especially with recent events and what's on the Ethereum, the Ethereum roadmap. I think it would be way more likely for Ethereum to flip Bitcoin than BNB to flip Ethereum. Totally agree with Bill there.
Yeah, I fully agree as well. But I do find it very shocking, well, not shocking, but surprising, that Binance is right now a third the market cap of Ethereum. Because, Binance honestly has been on quite the rally. Because if we go to CoinGecko, right, Binance has a market cap of 74 billion. Ethereum has a market cap of 258 billion. And with Binance burning tokens, it's basically getting more and more scarce. Which, because with the last burn for Q1, they burned $500 million. I mean, that's not chump change. And with each quarterly burn, it's gonna get higher and higher. I mean, because just think about this. Eventually, Binance will reach a level where they're burning $1 billion worth of value in BNB token. Because ideally, right now, if we go to the token supply, they have 154 million, and I think they'll keep on burning tokens until they reach 100 million total token supply. So basically, we're looking at 54 million tokens to be burnt. If I do my napkin math here, at the current price of 480, we're basically looking at $2.6 billion worth of BNB to be burnt if it were to be burned at current levels. But looking at this, we're all pretty bullish on Binance and BNB. I think it's safe to say that it's going to be worth over $5 billion burnt in its lifetime from here on out, right? So I'm not saying BNB is going to surpass Ethereum anytime soon, because you guys already know I'm an ETH maximalist in a way. But I do find it very, very surprising at how well they're doing. I mean, because as we mentioned, right, this would have been one of the best investments ever. If you invested in their ICO, at current levels, you would have had a 12,000x return, if my math is correct. Yeah, 12,000x return. I mean, this is 3 years ago, right? From the all-time low in 2017. And that's crazy. That's incredible. However, I don't really see them surpassing Ether anytime soon. As Forrest just mentioned, very, very bullish on Ethereum. And as you guys know, I've put up my predictions saying that I believe Ethereum will flip Bitcoin definitely by the end of this decade. I think probably a lot faster than that, because I think Ether is the future of money, the future of the next internet. Bitcoin is really just a store of value. And I keep on saying I'd rather invest in the next internet than in digital gold. So as a result, I'd have to really go with no. But tell us what you think. Once again, Minty code 3921-7525, 3921-7525. Okay, let's see what the audience has to say. All right, the audience is smart. They said no as well. Okay, wow, we had some people say maybe, and then yes. So I'm definitely curious to see what those who love Binance have to say about that. I'm guessing they probably are talking about the low transaction fees, but I mean, I think that's something that eventually Ethereum will solve. I don't think, because Ethereum, I think Binance is still very centralized. I don't really think it's something, as Bill mentioned, people plan to build the future of money on. Okay, let's go to the next segment. Crypto Showdown. Top DeFi picks for April. So DeFi, we know, has been trending. So we had three coins we think could possibly do well in April. Tell us what you think. We want the audience to partake in this. The options are Chainlink, Synthetics, and Yearn Finance. So tell us what you think. Minty code 3921-7525. Go to minty.com, menti.com. Bill, so out of these three coins, which ones are you most bullish on for April?
Okay, well, that is definitely a more interesting question than it was on Friday. I'm gonna do something bold, and I'm gonna say Yearn. Okay, and I'm gonna pull the chart up and show why. I have seen evidence, or it's just really just a theory, actually, that legacy money is pouring into DeFi. Okay. Now, this is Yearn on my special log scale. I had 47K as an important level. Yearn went down and it came straight back. The whole market's getting hammered and Yearn is up 8%. Now, again, thanks to my colleague Forrest, I've learned a thing or two about drawing trend lines. And I believe that when Yearn takes out 48 or 50K, that it's got the ability to extend, possibly to 100K. If you want to see, my version, if I can do it, of the math, the way Forrest does it, right? In other words, the last time Yearn moved above this particular trend line that I'm looking at, it did essentially a 200% return or a 2x. So if Yearn is at 50 and does a 2x, that's Yearn at 100. I probably would not have said this on Friday, but if you just look at the price action, because we've had this really big correction, this inflection point, you can see what people are coming in to buy. And the thing that's up when everything else that's down, it's kind of crypto 101. It's the thing that's going to moon.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest, how about you? Out of the three coins, Chainlink, Synthetics, and Yearn Finance, which DeFi coin are you most bullish on for April?
Yeah, and if I can share my screen here, I'll walk through the three I've got pulled up. I like all three of these a lot as projects from a fundamental perspective. So for me, it just comes down to my personal entry strategy, which is buying on a trend line. So Chainlink, my strategy is to buy whenever it comes down and touches this trend line. It's currently overvalued against this trend line. I do hold Chainlink, but I bought it down here. So for me in April, I wouldn't be looking to enter Chainlink here, although of course in a bull market, it could continue to run up further. Synthetics is actually my pick for the answer to this question because it's actually undervalued against its trend line. I think that this is a potentially good accumulation point, similar to how when Chainlink over here dipped below its trend line, it was a great buy. So I think Synthetics, if the bull market continues, is a potential slam dunk here. But I also agree with Bill on his Yearn Finance analysis. We have a massive triangle pattern here. I believe this is a ascending triangle, and it's recently broken key support here, or key resistance rather, and you've also got it not very far over its trend line at all. It actually came down and bounced off of it with this crash. So I also like Yearn Finance a lot. I'm a big fan of the project, and I think it's actually a little bit undervalued compared to some of the other DeFi coins. But Synthetics would be my pick based off of its trend line action right now.
All right, thank you, Forrest. So let's look at token metrics and look what the visual trends indicator have to say. So looking at Chainlink, so the high frequency trading strategy is bullish on Chainlink still, despite the correction. And looking at this has an accuracy of about 40%. So not the best, but in general, when it comes to trading, it's really more about the ROI than the actual accuracy of the strategy. Right now, looking at the low frequency one, this is also still bullish. But if we go to SNX, the high frequency did turn bearish, and after this kind of began to dip. And looking at this, the high frequency has fared better than the low frequency. And if we go to the low frequency, this is still bullish. Now, if we go to Yearn Finance, this is still bullish and trending upwards, which is always good. And going to the low frequency as well, this is also still bullish. So, I mean, just looking at this, definitely not SNX, just kind of based on the high frequency. However, this could be a false positive. But in terms of the cryptocurrency where I'm seeing the most bullish signs, just purely based on the trends indicator, I think YFI is definitely looking like one that with possible upside. But tell us what you think. Go to minty.com and tell us what you think. All right, so the options are, once again, Link, SNX, and YFI. Okay, so let's see what the audience has to say. If this can work. Okay, hold on, sorry, just give me 1 second here. Okay, drum rolls, please. The winner is Chainlink. Wow. Link Army, Link Marines. Link Marines are undefeated. Right, Forrest and Bill, what do you guys think?
I like Chainlink. I love Chainlink as a project. I enter it every time it hits that trend line. I buy more. But as far as for April, for me, it just doesn't fit my strategy at the moment. But I love the project.
All right.
I think the best thing you can say about
Marines?
Chainlink, yes, I think the Link Marines have got some big new friends. I think that there are people out there, and I also think this is happening with Synthetics. We actually saw it before the drop. Big players are figuring out that they've got to own something in DeFi, right? Chainlink and Synthetics may be things, may be coins that institutions can get their heads wrapped around, right? Synthetics is a derivatives platform, kind of like a Wall Street bank. Chainlink is almost like a software data provider like Oracle, possibly, right? Something that you need for blockchain connectivity. Simple stories, allowing institutions to get involved in DeFi, frankly, so that they can say they are involved in DeFi, right? Because they probably don't have Binance Coin. They don't know whether they should buy Ethereum or not, or they've already got Bitcoin and Ethereum is too much like that, so they need to diversify. So the case for Chainlink is that it's an actual way for people who hold Bitcoin to diversify themselves into a DeFi coin that is not insanely volatile.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Okay, so today we're actually going to skip cryptotherapy, just because I said I don't have my equipment with me. So we're going to a question from the forum.tokenmetrics.com. And the quote, I guess the title is "Sell in May and Go Away." Comes from Christoph. Hello, everyone. I've been thinking about this sentence that Bill has been saying on the live stream. Thank you, Bill, for what you do. You're the man. Sell in May and go away. I've been keeping this in mind, but I also keep hearing about no short-term signs of the end of the bull market. I imagine that this saying has to do with historical overall bearish behavior of the market in the month of May. Is that right? So would this mean sell your bags in May and wait to buy dips? Or might we have a different behavior this year with a continuous bullish trend in May as well? Thank you for your attention. All right, Bill, please elaborate.
Okay. Sell in May and go away actually comes from equities. And I decided in January to consider porting it over to crypto because of institutional involvement in the space. Now, selling in May, especially if Ethereum doubles, is something to consider. One thing that I didn't know at the time was really these catalysts that are in Ethereum for the summer. That said, no one knows what happens if Ethereum doubles, what that means for the small coin universe. It used to be that everybody would have their stack in Bitcoin and then move to alts. With decentralized exchanges, I'm wondering if people are all holding ETH. So perhaps it's sell your small coins and go away in May. Either way, I think Forrest actually said it better. I had to come up with something catchy because I got pressed for a long-term view in May. Just manage your greed, right? If you've got something and it's 10x'd, then it's time to find potentially a new trade. The big one is going to be ETH. I don't know whether it's going to be before the end of May or after, but this bull move doesn't end until ETH acts like Dogecoin.
All right, thank you, Bill. Forrest, how about you? What do you think about sell in May and go away?
Yeah, I mean, so my particular strategy is to map out key levels for Bitcoin and then take profits. But echoing the sentiment of sell in May and go away, I think that to me means be willing to take profits. Like Bill said, manage your greed, take profits. You saw how, everybody saw how fast Bitcoin dropped from 64,500, trickled down to 60,500, and then over the course of a couple hours, it had already hit $51,000. Now, I don't think this is the top of the market. I think that the market will continue to run for a little while longer. How much longer, I don't know. But imagine when it's actually the top and it's not going to recover. How painful it is. Even that $10,000 drop, that $9,000 drop down to 51,500. Think about how painful that is. And if you didn't take profits, how sorry you're going to be. So I don't think sell in May, go away is such a thing to consider, especially as the volatility is increasing in this market. We've got Dogecoin pumping. We've got other coins pumping. The volatility is high. When volatility goes up, people get weary of being in the market. And when people get weary of being in the market, they take their money out. And when they take their money out, the prices go down.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. Yeah. I mean, so the way I view it is there isn't really a time frame, but I think what we're trying to tell you is we're in a bull run. And as we keep on going higher and higher, get ready to possibly take profits. We're not saying sell everything and go home, but we're saying take something off the table, right? Whatever helps you sleep at night. And because quite frankly, even me, myself, I am prepared to take some profits on the way up. Now, I don't know exactly how much I'm going to take. All I know is I was basically joking with my friends that, hey, come summer of this year, I'm basically going to move downtown in Austin, get a nice crib, and maybe buy a car. Whether it's a Lambo or anything else, I don't know. However, I know that, okay, as we're going up and basically making money in crypto during this bull run, you have to have tangible goals that will force you to take some profits, whether it's buying a house, whether it's paying off your debt, your mortgage, whether it's going on a nice vacation, whether it's your kids' college tuition. Have something tangible come summertime that you're striving for. And once you hit that threshold, take some profits and cash out. I'm not saying sell everything, but I'm saying you want to cash something out, because we know in crypto, as you guys witnessed today, you can wake up and everything is down 20% in 12 hours. Because imagine if crypto tanks 20%, 40%, or even more in a month, right? Or let's say the bull run is over. Who knows, right? All we're saying is cash something out so that if there is a long-term correction or even bear market, you won't be sorry that you didn't cash out and pay off your mortgage or buy that home or buy a car or travel or begin that new business, right? Just have something tangible to strive towards in the short term that will force you to take out profits, right? That's basically the way I view it. But a great question. So tell us what you think. What are you striving for in May or this summer that you'll work towards cashing out some profits to pay for? Tell us down below. Okay, all right. So now time for the AMA. Go to menti.com, MENTI.com. Use the code 39217525. That's 39217525. And the question we get asked all the time, what's the next 100x coin? Oh man. I mean, so many coins out there. But I would say, first of all, that's why we made tokenmetrics.com. But let's begin with Forrest. If you had to pick the next 100x coin, what would you pick? Obviously not financial advice.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously not financial advice. I'll break it down into three categories. One is projects we've already code reviewed. For me, that's Audius. I own a significant portion of my portfolio is in audio token. Obviously, it's going to have some downwards pressure, selling pressure as tokens vest this on April 23rd, I believe. But in the long term, I think it could 100x. Absolutely. Maybe not from where it's at right now, but definitely from where we first started talking about it at, I believe, $1. Next, projects that are on the watch list that I just went over. If I had to pick one, and again, these haven't been code reviewed, so they could come back and have a terrible code review. But if I had to pick one, this is the one that interests me the most. If Integral, it's a very innovative DEX, and if they're actually able to steal everybody else's liquidity, then that's very interesting, and I could see a 100x. But again, that's dependent upon their claims actually coming to fruition, as well as it having a solid code base as well. And then technically, if we want to get technical, another coin actually already has 100x, and that's Nano. It actually hit $99 on Huobi. There was some different. There was some discrepancy in the prices on different exchanges, and somebody on Huobi bought it. There's a shooting star wick all the way up to $99. So if we really want to get technical there, that was a 100x. But we'll see where Nano goes.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Bill, how about you? What's your 100x coin?
All right. Well, I I will take some risk because obviously if you're looking at 100x, I actually saw the guy reach out to me on LinkedIn and I did some, I don't know, I did some chart work on it. So we had discussed Siren, right? That's SI. All right. That's like 800 market cap. Everyone seems to like synthetics. Siren SI is in the same space and has frankly been destroyed. The other coin is Kylan, KYL. Okay, this is the guy who reached out to me on LinkedIn. It's 434 on the market cap chart, and they just hit it below $1. Let me see if I can pull up the chart. Not that charts matter when you're looking for 100x's, but right. So with Kylan, right? My understanding about this is that, you know, like a large college incubator has picked this up. It's of course for Polkadot. So that means as of now, it's Polka Vapor, right? It's just pure speculation, but that's how you find 100x's, right? You just find the thing that's, you know, a concept or something that no one has picked up on yet. And this has to do with data management using Polkadot, where it seems like it's not like one oracle has to win over another. It's kind of like the win-win oracle, as I understand it. So if there was ever something that once this Polkadot trade starts, right, this could be something to consider. You know, this also comes from a respectable individual that I know. So it's not like I'm a 100x coin picker, but I think that's something interesting to look at along with SI.
All right, thank you, Bill. So let me also share what coins I think could 100x. Some of these coins I do hold because obviously if I think they're 100x, I would hold them. One of them I don't hold yet, but it's been on my watch list for a while. Now, all these are projects we have shared with our customers via code reviews. If you're a customer, every Tuesday on the weekend, we email our code reviews, which is, for me, a necessity to even finding any 100x coins. Right now, we'll preface this by saying this is not financial advice. And if anything, we're actually not looking for 100x coins. We're looking for 1,000x coins. Because if you go back in the last bull run, the 100x coins, they were pump and dumps. Right? I mean, even the ones I had, Wabi, Icon, Dragon Chain, they were honestly pump and dumps. Because now during this bull run, they haven't even hit their all-time high yet. Icon 100x, I got in at 12 cents private sale. 100x was at $12. Icon right now is at $2. So during this bull run, during this DeFi NFT craze, it still cannot even hit its all-time high from last bull run, right? So that's why my mindset has shifted to a point where you're not just looking for 100x for this bull run. You're looking for something so good that you could mess up trying to time to sell the top and you'll still do well, right? Because the real winners were Binance BNB, as we mentioned before, 12,000x return, synthetics, Aave. Those are the real winners. Projects in the last bull run, they went up, they crashed just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they bounced back, went past the all-time high, and kept on trucking, going to the moon and beyond, different galaxy, different universe. That's what we're looking for, right? So, in my opinion, projects I think that can do well this bull run, and once we have a correction, we'll bounce back and still do well in the next bull run. The one I keep on talking about the most, Armor Finance. I mean, looking at this, it's bounced back. For those who've kind of huddled through, it's up about 100% in the last 1 month or so. But to me, if DeFi is going to have any success, insurance is something that people will have to use, right? And right now, I think if you're early on this, they're basically paying you to get insurance, right? So this is kind of like, I mean, Warren Buffett has something called margin of error when it comes to investing. I think when it comes to crypto, I mean, this is basically a margin for error. I mean, because if they're paying you to get insurance, because there were two ways to get exposure to Armor. One is to buy it via an exchange, like me, or you can also just get insurance on your crypto and get paid for it, right? So you don't necessarily have to buy the token. You can just earn it from just getting insurance on your entire Ethereum wallet wallet address. So this to me, I think on 100x at current price levels, because I don't think DeFi insurance is going away anytime soon. Nexus Mutual is great, but that requires KYC. Armor Finance gives you everything you need, in my opinion. It's smart, it's simple. It's something people I think would actually use, bear market or bull market. Next up, this is my most recent investment. If you're a customer, we shared this with you in the last week or so. Liquidity. I believe Forrest also bought this as well. But basically, at a high level, it's a new competitor to MakerDAO, right? So if you go here, right, you basically earn interest-free liquidity at your fingertips. You can borrow their stablecoin LUSD against Ethereum at 0% interest rate. Now, this is kind of tricky because it says 0% interest rate. However, they do charge a fee, I believe 0.5% when you enter and exit. But this is something I think is going to be very, very valuable, right? Because this is essentially a very capital efficient way to borrow money for crypto. Now, one thing to note, they do have a very high fully diluted valuation. So if I was to play devil's advocate, I would say that might not help them do 100x. However, I think the functionality, the utility, plus the token. This is a token that I think is going to be very cash flow positive. It's basically a token designed to earn money, right? Because when you hold the token and you stake it, you'll earn a portion of the fees being charged to people who borrow money. Plus, this is something I plan to use myself. Earlier, the question was sell in May and go away. Well, for me, I don't plan to sell my Ether anytime soon. However, I do want to cash out in the summertime some ETH. So I'm thinking, as opposed to going through Celsius or some other lending protocol, why not just use Liquidity, which is more capital efficient, give them my Ether, lock it up, earn the value of Ether appreciating over time without having to sell my Ether, borrow against that Ether, then use that to, I don't know, do whatever I want to, right? So that's something I'm actually planning to use this summer. So I think this has lots of potential, lots of upside. And I did buy this recently. Right now, this is, I think, about 1% of my portfolio. When I got in, the price point was around $18, $20. But the liquidity was low. I think it was about 1 million 24-hour trading volume. Liquidity is up now. Currently, it's only available on DEXs still. Basically, Uniswap is where the most volume is. However, I may buy more of this. Then the other token, which I also have, Siren. I think DEXs for options, this can be huge. Right now, it's not really done too well. Pulling this up here on CoinGecko. But this is something I'm willing to kind of sit tight on this and wait for the whole market to figure this out, right? Now, I could be wrong on this, right? But that's something I'm willing to bet on, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to find 1,000x returns, you can't completely lose your point of view and get out of an investment just because it's not going your way, right? Because as I mentioned before, when it comes to fundamental investing, you have to wait a long time, and the fundamentals have to fundamentally change for you to get out, right? If you're just getting in and out very quickly, then you're not really investing in fundamentals. And honestly, if you're not investing in fundamentals, then you will never experience those 1,000x returns. You'll only get those pump and dumps. Because the real 1,000x returns, like the BNB, the Aves, the synthetics, the heliums, you can't just rely on just purely pump and dumps or TA. You have to actually understand the fundamentals, go in, and that's what gives you the fortitude, the diamond hands to hodl as the market tanks 40% or even 90%, right? So Siren, I'm very, very optimistic on this. I think this could possibly do 100x or even 1,000x return. So I do own this as well. Then Kine. Kine is also part of my DEX portfolio in a way. Think of this as basically BitMEX as a DEX, right? You can have up to 100x leverage on a DEX for derivatives. Now, it hasn't taken off yet. I've been tracking this. We shared this with the customers via a code review. And the valuation I thought was pretty high. So I've been waiting for this to correct to then possibly scoop up. Now, the downside is I do have lots of DEX plays in my portfolio now. So I may have to really look at all of them and see which ones I really believe in the most, because this I don't have, but you basically have this, the Siren, I also have Opium. I also have Perpetual Protocol, right? So now I'm kind of maybe getting too, I have to really kind of downsize my portfolio, but that's something I may do that down the road. But in my opinion, those are the plays that I think could 100x. That's just my opinion. Obviously not financial advice, but once again, to reiterate, if you're looking for 100x returns, you have to hodl. Like, very rarely do you get 100x returns that are sustained from playing the pump and dump game. Pump and dump games, you get 100x's. Yes, all right. I'm not denying that that's not available. However, I guarantee you, obviously, I'm sorry, I can't guarantee, but it's highly probable that in 3 years, those coins will go to zero, right? Or they won't go past the all-time high from the last bull run. So when you keep that in mind, you want to be investing in projects that you believe will go past the all-time high from the last bull run. And to have that mindset, I think you have to really look at 1,000x returns, projects with actual value, actual utility. That's why, I mean, all these projects I talked about are projects that with actual products you can actually use now. Now, these aren't Polkadot hype plays where they're raising money on Ethereum with ERC20 token for projects on Polkadot. All these are projects live you can actually use and trade with. So with that being said, tell us what you think. Do you think these projects could 100x? Or do you have other projects you think could 100x? Tell us what you think down below in the comments. Okay, all right. So let's go on to the next question. All right. Are there any new narratives in crypto or new sub-narratives in DeFi that you predict the next alt season will follow? All right, great question. Bill, what do you think about narratives in crypto? Do you see any new narratives coming in?
Yes, the new narrative in crypto is legacy money. Hedge funds are going to have to start allocating to the DeFi system. Earlier in the week, tracking on-chain data, we noticed, basically a form of wrapped Ethereum in a way, hitting Compound. We also saw big purchases of Synthetics and Chainlink. Legacy is coming into DeFi. Now, they are going to think, so the question is, what's the new twist, right? Like, how do you evaluate DeFi? Well, there was the way crypto people do it, and then there's going to be the way legacy people will do it. They're going to want to invest in stuff that, if things go wrong, that they had an explainable case. They're going to want the blue chips, which people in crypto may go, really? Compound? It's kind of boring, or Synthetics or Yearn. It's like we knew about that already. That's not new. Well, it's not new to you, but it might be new to somebody who says, you know what? I don't think when we get involved in crypto, I don't think we want it all to be in DeFi. And of course, that says nothing about the fact that, returns in the legacy universe, you're lucky if you can get 5 to 10% investing in a diversified portfolio in legacy, where you can get 7% for depositing Litecoin on BlockFi. So institutional money is coming to DeFi, and that's going to create big rallies in certain coins that you may not suspect. In other words, Dogecoin is only the beginning. Can you imagine if Compound or Synthetics started acting like Dogecoin because institutional money flowed from the legacy world into those coins? Something to consider.
All right. Thank you, Bill. How about you, Forrest? Any new narratives you see coming up in DeFi and crypto?
Two new narratives I see coming up. The first one I've already mentioned before is the term decon, decentralized content, or the decentralization of the content economy. I think content creators are going to be able to monetize their work and their content in a more efficient way and cut out the middlemen. We're seeing this with Audius. We're seeing this with Theta, with the video streaming. We're seeing multiple video. AIOZ is another decentralized video streaming platform that's coming onto the scene. We're seeing this with NFTs. We're seeing it with social currency projects like Rally. So decentralized content, I think, is going to continue to be a big narrative. The other narrative and this is going to sound a little bit weird, that I see happening when it comes to altcoins is I think Ethereum is going to be seen as a store of value in the future. So we just talked about the power of BNB burning tokens. Ethereum right now has a fairly high issuance rate, fairly high inflation, but with EIP 1559 coming in July, a portion of gas fees will be burned. And then we've also got proof of stake coming. And I believe the Ethereum core developers just voted and decided that they believe they could finish the transition to proof of stake or implement the first wave of their transition, first leg of their transition to proof of stake by the end of the year. So much sooner than we initially thought. With those two updates to Ethereum would then be a deflationary asset. And when you have a deflationary asset, it becomes, in my opinion, a better store of value than even Bitcoin with its 2% inflation right now. In addition to that, holding Ethereum also has a vast amount of utility with all the DeFi applications and being able to pay gas fees and whatnot. So I think that potentially we could see Ethereum be seen as a store of value in addition to all the utility that it holds. Why hold Bitcoin? And I'm not hating on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's great. But why hold Bitcoin when you can also hold Ethereum? Or why not hold a lot more Ethereum than you hold Bitcoin if it's also a store of value? It's a deflationary asset that you expect to go up in price over time. So that's my prediction in terms of a kind of a strange narrative that I think we might see play out towards the end of the year.
All right, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense, especially with, as you mentioned, the new deflationary strategy of Ethereum and then burning Ether every transaction coming up this summer. I think one, because we've kind of gone through, I think we've gone through the Polkadot narrative, we've gone through the Binance narrative. I think the narrative we haven't really seen yet that could be coming, maybe I would say end of Q2, maybe Q3 or even Q4, Cardano DeFi. Because I know there's already a Cardano starter project for projects trying to launch on Cardano. Ironically, like with Polkadot, they're doing everything on Ethereum. But I think the whole narrative of DeFi could shift into Cardano. I think one other blockchain that could possibly capture that narrative as well could be Solana. I think it's because people are basically hopping from blockchain to blockchain, right? We've done Polkadot, we've done Binance Smart Chain. So I think Solana and Cardano could be next in terms of the whole DeFi narrative of them cloning projects from Ethereum and trying to build their own dexes. So I think those are the narratives I see that could possibly be coming in the next, I would say, few months. All right, so let's go on to the next question. So super chat from a fellow Ian Gali. What are your thoughts on crypto insurance plays? For example, Bridge Mutual and Polka Cover. Thank you. These are both low cap gems. So Bridge Mutual, I think we did look into it, but I don't think it scored well in the code review compared to Armor. Armor and Nexus Mutual, in our opinion, are the best insurance plays for crypto, purely based from a code perspective. Polka Cover, that I'm not sure if we've looked at, but just the fact it's Polkadot, I would say it's probably not ready yet. So probably premature to even have that in the conversation. It's probably just speculation. So for speculation, we would just do TA, not really fundamental analysis. Forrest, any thoughts on Bridge Mutual or any of those projects?
No, none in particular. I think you covered it with Armor. I think Armor's the insurance protocol to probably go with.
Yeah, so I would say Armor and Nexus Mutual. Those are the ones that come to mind. Everything else, we don't feel comfortable putting money in. Not financial advice. Okay, all right. So let's continue on with the next question. Okay, sorry. Let me just filter out. Okay, is DeFi next to pop? Okay, so people are wondering, is this the DeFi bubble? Is the DeFi bubble over? Bill, what do you think? Should people pack it up and go?
You know, it seems like every week, every customer interaction, we discuss or get asked, when is the bear market coming? Has the bubble popped? When do I sell? I can't wait for it to go to zero so I can buy. All these questions have different angles, but everyone is waiting or asking about a bear market. We got called by a legacy newspaper on Friday and asked, what can you tell us about getting short crypto? Why is everyone talking about the market going down when crypto authorities like Forrest and Ian are explaining to you what is about to happen in the second biggest coin on the market cap chart? That's Ethereum. Everybody is talking about the market going down a lot, which makes me believe that the market can just go up beyond what people can imagine. Because everyone is either, I'm bored, I want it to go down, it's too volatile. People, this is what bull markets do to you. They make you fantasize about a bear market so you can buy, when the reality is bear markets are incredibly unpleasant. I'm not sure if you see what a bear does when it gets aggressive. It's not pretty. Now, is there excess in the crypto market? Of course there is. It's the crypto market. Okay. Excess leads to innovation. However, I don't think DeFi is a bubble, right? Because if it was a bubble, when it would go down like it did this weekend, it would just go straight to zero. That's what bubbles do. They just completely crash. The decentralized finance narrative. That's not DeFi as in like the casino on PancakeSwap. Decentralized finance. The entire finance textbook that you would get in school running on a decentralized blockchain network has only started. I remember being on a live stream with Ian with 9 billion locked up in DeFi, all sitting around going, wow, 9 billion total value locked. Is that a bubble? It's now at 121 billion. It's a bubble when it's at 9 trillion, and then it won't be a bubble. It'll be a financial system unto itself. So yes, that's a long-winded answer. What I'm trying to get people to see is when you're fantasizing about the market going down so you can buy, what actually happens is the bus leaves without you and the market goes up.
All right. That's great, Bill. Yeah, definitely don't miss that bus. Or don't miss that rocket ship. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question. Technical analysis on armor, sir. All right, Bill, could you please take it away? People have been asking for this, actually clamoring for this TA on armor.
All right. Well, let me just get to it here. I will pull the chart up.
Yeah, as Bill pulls that up, I also pull it up here on Token Metrics.
Okay, so let's start with like almost a real-time example of what I was just talking about. So people who were holding armor had to live with this. Okay, they had to live with some kind of hack, some sort of problem with the network. It happened in early February. It caused armor to fall below the 62% retracement of its big rally up. Okay, normally in crypto, if something is good, it'll hold the 62% retracement of a rally. Okay, that was at roughly 81 cents. Okay, armor eventually bottomed at 40 cents, where understandably there was a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth. There was a complete give up trade here. Pretty much everybody, all armor holders were upset except for Ian. Ian doesn't get upset. Seriously. Okay, right here, there's a dip in armor. So the bulls try to advance it. Okay, it runs into resistance. Okay, and then the bulls try to take it back up again. if the bulls are successful in taking out the resistance from the recent high, then trend followers are in. So in Armor, let me paint two scenarios. One, everyone panicked because of a negative event, and then somebody came out and said that they liked it in a newsletter, and Armor has found an equilibrium pending the next bull run in small altcoins. The second scenario is that people see this the way Ian sees it, as something that can trend higher over time. If bulls are able to take out this $1.40 area, you would have some evidence that the trend followers are in fact following a trend in Armor.
All right, thank you, Bill. So we'll also go through the visual trends indicator. So the high frequency indicator turned bullish on April 1st at $1.06, and the low frequency has also turned bullish on April 1st at $1.06. So, so far so good. Once again, as usual, practice proper risk management. Okay, thank you, Bill. Moving on to the next question. Mike Novogratz is big on Definity, just like several other 9 out of 10 figure men. Okay, ICP could make all other chains irrelevant overnight. Well, we've looked into Definity, which I believe rebranded to ICP. And we don't think it's going to replace Ethereum anytime soon. I'm not sure if anything has changed. Last time we did a code review on them was over a year ago, right? But maybe it warrants us going back to take a look at that. So maybe, Forrest, if you could add that to the list for us to go back and revisit and see if if anything has changed. Have any of you been looking at ICP, Forrest or Bill?
I haven't.
I have not.
Yeah. So I don't think anything else we could cover on that besides that. Okay. Next question. Curious to hear your thoughts on the Ether Vader protocol. Apparently, it's the next hot thing in permanent loss protection of BNT burn to mint stablecoin of Luna reserve lending. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't really cover individual coins because we haven't really looked at them. So it's really pointless unless it's something from a TIA perspective. Well, coin our team has already researched in. It's hard for us to really comment on this. So we're gonna have to skip this, unfortunately. Okay, next question. The 40% drop in hash rate due to a blackout in China is worrying for BTC. This is why BTC was designed for decentralization. What are your thoughts on BTC being too centralized at the moment? Great question. Bill, what do you think about the hash rate blackout in China?
Yes, very interesting. The global governments are always a big fan of warning you that they can step in and stop certain things at any point. I remember being at a conference in Texas called the Texas Bitcoin Conference, where a company called Decred, DCR, was presenting its work that they figured out how to fork Bitcoin and change it in a way that certain miners could only get a certain percentage of control. Decred went from $12 and hit $240 2 days ago. I think the Chinese can shut off the supply to Bitcoin. I think there's always FUD around crypto. Obviously, it's a reminder that Bitcoin may not be the ultimate cryptocurrency that the media headlines portray it to be. If anything, when I hear these type of stories, I go back to what I was saying earlier, is I wonder if everyone's going to wake up and go, gee, I bought the wrong form of Bitcoin, or I should have just bought Ethereum. So how much weight do I put in these FUD stories? I don't, right? Because they're just one indication that the real trade is elsewhere, which is something that we've been saying all along. I would prefer to make that point nicely on YouTube wearing my stylish Token Metrics baseball cap than I would about worrying about FUD articles. But at the end of the day, it's the same message, folks. There's a better play out there, and you're not too late. If anything, you're early.
All right, thank you, Bill. Forrest, what do you think about the question in terms of the FUD that's causing Bitcoin to crash?
Yeah, so normally I don't react to FUD too much. I try to push it out of sight, out of mind. But this one I actually think is very serious for Bitcoin. And I know it's an unpopular opinion to take a stance against Bitcoin. But for me, this is why I think that it's possible for Ethereum to flip a Bitcoin sooner rather than later. Not necessarily this market cycle, maybe a year or two, maybe once proof of stake comes out. I don't know. But for me, this is enough for me to not want to own Bitcoin, because what this tells me is that if China wanted to, they can manipulate the price of Bitcoin. Now, I think we probably all agree that there's some level of manipulation that goes on in markets, whether they're legacy markets or crypto markets. To what extent that is, I'm unsure, but this is scary because if Bitcoin, or if China can turn off the power to, I believe it was almost half. So the hash rate went down by 40% within 48 hours. So if they can turn off almost half of the Bitcoin network by turning off the electricity in China, they can manipulate the price of Bitcoin. That doesn't make me feel very comfortable holding Bitcoin. So for me, I will, from this point forward, probably be using Ethereum like Ian as my base pair and my store of value. For reasons I just already discussed, I do think that Ethereum can potentially be a store of value. It can do what Bitcoin does better than Bitcoin eventually when it goes to proof of stake and becomes deflationary. So why hold Bitcoin if you can hold a different store of value that doesn't have this centralization problem?
All right, now, Forrest, actually, so one thing that kind of I've been seeing on crypto Twitter, I'm trying to see if I can pull up the information here, but basically people are saying that whales knew this, right? I think there was speculation. I'm not sure if I can find the article here on Twitter, but basically people are speculating that people like Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, founder of FTX and Alameda Research, basically crypto billionaires and whales knew that this was happening, and then they sold, and then that basically triggered a cascade of leveraged buyers of crypto basically getting liquidated, right? So, which I think possibly brings up an even bigger question, right? Because I know you trade with margin. How over leveraged is crypto?
Yeah, I think crypto is very over leveraged. And I think this liquidation event is something that demonstrates that. We also, I believe the last kind of mini crash we had, it was on Kraken. There was a liquidation event where the order books weren't thick enough, that the order books were a little too thin on Kraken. But we're in a space where we see GameStop pumping like crazy. We see Dogecoin pumping like crazy. People get greedy. It's a very, very greedy market right now. And when you run out of capital to invest in cryptocurrency, what do? You turn to leverage. And then when you turn to leverage and you run out of capital again because you've thrown everything in, what do? You turn up the leverage. I do think people are being reckless, but I do think the people that are smart and use leverage conservatively, for lack of a better word, and manage their risk with it well, I think leverage is a terrific tool. But when you see these platforms advertising 50x and 100x leverage, and people are jumping in there and using 20 plus x leverage on stuff, I do think as we move deeper into the bull market, it'll only get worse. And as a result of that, I believe that's why later in bull markets we see higher volatility, and higher volatility is therefore an indicator that we're nearing the end of the bull market. We could be in the last leg of a bull market when we start seeing this high volatility.
Bill, what do you think about crypto possibly being over leveraged?
Well, leverage and margin washouts are kind of as old as the hill. Futures itself is a leveraged game. So washing people out in things like futures contracts, certainly every big 20 to 30% decline in equities not related to 2008 just completely wipes out everyone on margin, right? And margin use in equities is nowhere near what it is in crypto. When the crypto market gets over leveraged like it has, I actually think these washouts are healthy. Now, if they're not healthy, right, that does mean that the bigger players have gotten on margin, right? The little guy can be washed out in 3 to 4 days. Systems blow up, legacy systems blow up, and the Fed has to step in. Oh, wait, hold on. There is no Fed in crypto to step in, right? Is when institutions get over leveraged. Okay. So most likely, as you noted from crypto Twitter, those whales who are liquidated, it's always funny that whales are assumed to be like spot holders. That may not be true, right? Levered whales may have been the sellers. And if the market continues to go down, it's because levered whales are caught and they just have to continue to sell. Now, are they caught long ETH? I don't think so, especially if ETH's fundamentals are about to change. They're certainly not levered long Nano because it 1x'd overnight. What about the future of money? In other words, you know how I always say people are long the wrong stuff? Maybe we should adjust it and say people are levered long the wrong stuff. That makes the moves more aggressive. So it's been typical for crypto to crash in and come back. But as Forrest said earlier, what happens if it doesn't come back? If it doesn't come back, then you know the system is over levered, and then you have to make decisions accordingly. That's how I would do it.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So if you're enjoying this live stream, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, put on alerts, and be sure to join us at tokenmetrics.com as a customer. We just launched our Visual Trends Indicator, which has already been well received, and we'll be making updates where all our customers will be able to get more access to more tokens. So that includes the Hot Plan, the Investor Plan, and the Pro Plan. We have over 6,000 assets where you can go and get automated TA using machine learning and our technology. All right. So with that being said, let's continue with the next question. 1 inch is on Coinbase, but still not moving. What do you think about that? Thanks. Okay. All right. So let's segue maybe to Bill and Forrest. If you guys can maybe pull up 1 inch and let us know what you think from a TA perspective. Now, I think with them getting added on Coinbase, that definitely is a good sign because they are a competing exchange. But Coinbase, after the IPO, which, I mean, talk about a crazy week in crypto. We haven't even covered the Coinbase IPO at all. Right? But that's crypto for you, right? There's so many newsworthy events happening all the time that Coinbase IPO gets relegated to not even being covered on the show. But I think Coinbase has been adding Uniswap, SushiSwap, 1 inch exchange. The space is crowded. I do think 1 inch is undervalued relative to all those projects, but I think their token utility can be improved relative to Uniswap and SushiSwap. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But for me, it's something I'm willing to kind of hodl for the long term because I already have exposure to Union and all the others as well. So, Bill, let me know when you're ready for the TA.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk the chart only. I think Forrest has got some work that he looks at regarding like what 1 inch is actually worth, but essentially what we're looking at here is a give up trade, right? People have been really annoyed about 1 inch. I think it's because a lot of people may have missed Uni and Sushi, so they're trying to jump on the 1 inch trade. I do think when people come to legacy, when legacy investors come to crypto, they're going to use 1 inch. However, that may be already reflected in its price. Now, I would have thought that when 1 inch blasted through this fib number at 585, that would have been the start of a bull move. Now, normally I don't say this in reverse, but if a market is supposed to go up and it doesn't, what's it going to do? It's going to.
Okay, looks like maybe we might have lost Bill. Apologies, having some technical issues there. Forrest, have you been looking at 1 inch as well? Can you maybe kind of share your perspective on 1 inch?
I have been. So I've got the chart pulled up over here. You can see that it's still on its healthy trend line. It's on this linear trend line on a logarithmic view, right? And that shows that it's growing exponentially. And if my chart pops up here, you can see that for me, I look at buying when it's on this trend line, because anytime it hits this trend line, it's set for a potential another rally. So it did get 300% overvalued against this trend line at one point, and it's since revisited and bounced off of this trend line 3 times now. So this is the third bounce we got. The correction in Bitcoin last night, or over the last 24 to 48 hours, did drive it below this trend line, but it has since popped right back up onto this trend line. And to me, this looks like a healthy buy, especially when you talk about a project that got as good of a code review score as 1 inch did. The other two metrics that I think might be the reason for Uniswap being kind of a little bit of a slow starter here for how good of a project it is the fully diluted valuation to TVL ratio. So total value locked. So that's your fully diluted valuation divided by the total value locked. 1 inch has a very low total value locked in comparison to Uniswap, SushiSwap, and these other DEXs. The reason that is because 1 inch is a DEX aggregator rather than an actual DEX. So it doesn't actually hold all of the liquidity that's being traded through it. It's routing the trades through SushiSwap and Uniswap. That means that the denominator in this ratio is very low, which causes this ratio to appear very high. Now, if we go and look at the ratio for Uniswap, usually when it comes to DEXs and DeFi projects or and total value locked, you want this number to be lower. The lower this number, the potentially more undervalued a project is. Now, 1 inch is not necessarily a DEX. It's a DEX aggregator. But I do think that people may be looking at this ratio and thinking that it's a little bit overvalued. So it's not something that you should necessarily compare directly to Uniswap or SushiSwap or Balancer, because it is different. It's a DEX aggregator. Now, the other metric, and this is a ratio that another one of our analysts, Brad, brought to my attention, is the price to sales ratio. And this is typically used in legacy to value assets, but it's just looking at the how a blockchain or a decentralized application is valued in relation to its revenues. So we're looking at the value divided by how much revenue it actually generates. And these ones over here, these larger price to sales ratios, signal something potentially being overvalued. Now, 1 inch has a higher ratio because, again, it's not generating as much revenue as Uniswap or SushiSwap. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have a ton of utility, because people are going to 1 inch and they're routing their transactions through Uniswap and SushiSwap. So this is another metric that is showing that 1 inch is potentially overvalued, but I don't think it's an apt comparison or a fair comparison, because 1 inch actually provides a ton of utility. It just doesn't necessarily generate as much revenue. In fact, it generates revenue for Uniswap. It generates revenue for SushiSwap. It generates revenue for these other DEXs. So that's why this number is a little bit high. So those are two metrics I look at, and I think they could be contributing to people maybe speculating that Uniswap is a little bit overvalued, when in reality, I just don't think it's a fair comparison to compare to Uniswap or SushiSwap, because 1 inch is a DEX aggregator, not a DEX.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. That was great analysis. And I believe Bill is back. Bill, welcome back.
Hi. Thank you.
All right. Want to continue with your thoughts on 1 inch, you were saying?
Well, let me just conclude with a qualitative point. I think Forrest has definitely covered the numbers, right? 1 inch is your classic example of a frustration trade. It should have gone up. It didn't. So what did it do? It turned around and it went down hard. And it's probably scaring the daylights out of people or people are just giving up. That may not be a smart thing to do, okay? Because again, remember who's behind 1inch, Mike Novogratz, Galaxy Digital, and I believe 1inch will be popular with legacy investors once they come to the space. That said, I do know people are literally losing their minds over the fact that 1inch doesn't move. And I'm sure that this fake out where it looked like a breakout and then a mini crash has driven people over the edge. So in conclusion, it's not Uniswap or Sushi Swap, but a lot of times in crypto, you want to get involved at the moment where people give up. And I suspect you could be looking at a give up trade in 1inch exchange.
All right. Thank you, Bill. That was great analysis. Okay. So here's a comment from the AMA. Hello, what's happening with audio? What is your prognosis? Thanks. All right. Forrest, what's happening with audios?
Yeah, so audio is actually, since we started talking about it, it's up over 100% still. It's still over $2. And I believe we started talking about it at about $1. It did pump to about $5. But we have these tokens vesting for team and advisors, as well as early investors, the VCs, that their first round of tokens vest on April 23rd. So obviously, knowing that, nobody wants to buy Audius before the supply is about to get diluted. Now, once the supply gets diluted a little bit on April 23rd, it doesn't get diluted again for 3 more months. So then we've got 3 months where Audius can potentially have a nice run up. For me, because of how good of a project it is, because it scored over a 90 on fundamental analysis and over a 90 on the code review, and because I believe in the narrative of decentralized content and what they're trying to accomplish, right? Audio token for me is a long-term hold. So this is one of those where Ian was talking about, if you believe in the project, you'll hold through all of the dips. For me, I think this is an opportunity for people to get in. If I was looking to get into audio token right now and I didn't have any exposure to it, this is not financial advice, I'd probably make 2 purchases. One right now while it's dipped, and then another one after the tokens vest on April 23rd, right? So maybe the week following, if it gets driven down further, that's a buying opportunity where you can potentially pick it up for cheap. So for me, I'm holding on my audio token. I haven't taken significant profits from my initial buy yet. And I'm very bullish long-term on audio. I think it's a great buying opportunity.
Yeah, myself as well. So actually, I have an audio story for you this weekend, Forrest. So I'm back home in DC to kind of just catch up with family. We're driving to go take a COVID test. My dad's playing PBS, like NPR. And during the break, they mentioned, hey, this band, get their audio on Audius. And I was like, on PBS? So like, as opposed to saying, hey, catch this band's audio on Spotify or iTunes, like this is like mainstream radio, PBS here in America, which is like basically public radio. They're saying catch this band's songs on Audius. So I think this is going to become a thing. Right now, I feel like we're super early, but if public radio is already plugging Audius, I think as more artists catch on, this can really be pretty huge, right? So for me, this is a long-term trade. We also shared with our customers a pretty in-depth report comparing Audius to Spotify and iTunes. Bill, do you want to kind of cover that briefly? The report David did?
Yes, I can. So we took a look at several things. Okay, I'm just going to leave my Audius chart up here while I talk for people to marinate on it. We took a look at what Apple was worth when iTunes was created in 2003. We also looked at what Spotify was valued at right before a lot of venture capital money came in prior to its public offering. And sort of the $8 billion number was out there for what could be the value of the next big music streaming service at least initially. Needless to say, the market valuation of Audius is not $8 billion. Okay. It's 182 on the market cap chart, and I'm showing a market cap of 334 million. Now, when it comes to the TA, right, this is an 89-minute bar chart. So this is something that you might use to try to figure out, when might the correction in Audius be over? Frequently, when you have these sort of give up trades, either people have already given up at the even number of $2, okay, which is why Forrest is saying, hey, you should be taking a look at this. 212 is another big technical number. Okay, however, if there was a dip below 2, that might represent in Elliott wave terms a 5 wave, kind of the ultimate give up. Like, wow, I knew this was great, but I bought it at the wrong price. So if there is a give up trade in Audius, it could be coming soon, and you would want to take advantage of it, because if you're going to hodl something, right, if you're going to think about decentralized content, if you think about how tired people are of artists and consumers not capturing the value or having a good experience while Silicon Valley just pulls in all the money, something like Audius that's 300 million that could one day be worth 8 billion. And again, that may be a warm up, especially if it's already on public radio. These comparative valuations, they're not mathematically perfect, but in research, you get paid for imagination. So you maybe take a couple data points from the future and go, gee, far out there, what could happen? 8 billion. Think about it.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Okay, so let's take one last question. Then we'll have to, unfortunately, wrap up the show. But if you're enjoying things thus far, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Not being in crypto is a financial crime. Not being on Token Metrics is a financial crime. Not watching the show is a financial crime. Okay, so to come full circle, I'll combine two questions. We have one question from a user, Super Chat, that's basically saying, you guys are great. I want exposure to collateral. Should I wait for another dip or buy now? Thanks, Ian, Bill, and Forrest. And that comes from Keith. I'll combine that with other question. When are you guys getting worried about a bear market? When should we pull out? Any thoughts? Mixed signals all over the market. People are saying we're in a bubble. So basically, are we in a bubble, bull market, and should somebody get more exposure to buy the dip? Bill, let's begin with you.
Okay. So if people are asking, are we in a bubble? We're not in a bubble. In 2017, the New York Times had two people on its front page wearing ugly Bitcoin and Ethereum Christmas sweaters, and the headline read, "Everyone's getting rich and you're not." Okay? That is a bubble. In crypto, when people are worried, when should I get out, or when is the bear market coming? I've kind of already covered this. Since I'm sort of the king of repeating myself for everyone's benefit, in other words, I don't mind repeating myself. It's a good lesson for me, and hopefully it's a good lesson for you. My father, who was a stockbroker between 1974 and 2000, used to have a saying. When everyone says, when should I sell? Buy. Very simple saying, right? The market climbs the wall of worry. The higher the market goes, the more worried people seem to get. I think you buy dips in high quality things that we've covered on the show. Okay. that would not be the latest NFT casino play. That's high quality stuff. Because the bull market in those areas, like the future of money, your dashes, your ETHs, your audios, your armor, the things that my colleagues have talked about, are the things you want to grab on red days. One of my other colleagues said, no one wants to buy on a red day. They love a 20% green candle, but they won't touch it on a red day. Okay. Just because there's a red day, it doesn't mean there's a bubble or a top. Yes, this thing is going to top one day. And when it does, you'll know. But nasty dips that scare people are a hallmark of bear markets. Are a hallmark of bull markets. And a bear market is coming when you start getting questions in the AMA like, I'm wearing a lampshade on my head and the market is going up forever. I can't believe how much fun I'm having. When we start hearing that, then you worry it's a bubble.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest, what do you think?
Yeah, so as far as getting collateral goes to buy a dip, this is one project that we've done a code review on. We've done a fundamental analysis on, and it's something that I actually am looking at in terms of getting collateral to buy a dip once I actually take profits. So my strategy will probably go something like, my strategy revolves around identifying key levels of resistance. These are what I refer to as margin buying pressure levels. That's a discussion for another day or another video. We have talked about potentially integrating this with the quantitative analysis that we do. And I've talked to the quantitative team about potentially integrating these levels into the indicators. So more on that potentially later. But the idea is that if I think Bitcoin's going to have some resistance at $75,000, then I plan on taking profits on a lot of my positions around that level because I expect if Bitcoin dips, it's going to wash out a lot of the altcoins with it. And that's if it dips significantly. Now, something that we've talked about with Alchemix in the past, Alchemix allows you to generate or take out a loan, mint DAI, after you deposit, so you deposit DAI, you get an advance on your yield. So you deposit, let's say 1,000 DAI. That DAI starts earning 12% APY through a Yearn Finance protocol or Yearn Finance vault. And you're able to take out a loan against that DAI, that deposit, up to 50% collateralized, right? So then you can take out a loan, $500 in this case, to buy the dip with. So this is a strategy that I'm looking into as we get nearer and nearer to my next Bitcoin targets for what could potentially trigger a correction. So then I'll take my profits into DAI, deposit them into Alchemix, and hopefully by then Armor will offer insurance on this particular protocol. I would imagine that it would. And I'll take my 50% loan out and look to buy a dip with it. So that's my personal strategy that kind of integrates, answers kind of both your questions. Do I think we're headed into a bear market? Not quite yet. I think we'll at least hit $75,000 or $86,000 personally, maybe even $100,000 before we get the next big correction. There's a lot of analysts that have said $120,000 to $300,000 Bitcoin's on the table this market cycle. If Bitcoin went to $300,000, that would be great. I'm not banking on that. I'm not holding until $300,000, hoping that we'll get there, because there's a strong chance we won't. One thing that this actual chart shows, and it's a little bit outdated, is historically we've had Bitcoin corrections of 85 and 84% from the top. This just maps out and says, if we got to $120,000 Bitcoin, what would a 70% correction look like? What would an 80% correction look like? Well, 70 to 80% correction brings us down below where we're at right now. So what does that tell me? Any money that I introduce to the market now, I better be looking to take profits on it rather than hodl it long term, unless I plan on hodling it for years and years and years, right? Because the potential correction from $120,000 to where we might bottom out in a bull market is going to bring us below 60K where we're at right now. And I know this is a little bit outdated. I think we're at $56,000 right now. We had a bit of a correction since I took this screenshot, but that's kind of, this is kind of the type of things that I personally look at when I'm deciding whether or not to add more money to the market. This is telling me that I need to be willing to take profits on anything I add now, because a potential correction could bring us below and take me underwater on an investment. So it's kind of a long-winded way to answer your question, but that's from me, from a personal perspective, how I go about things.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you, Bill. Now, just my quick thoughts on that. So I don't think we're close yet to a bear market. I mean, I think there's still lots of room to run. However, I think, as mentioned earlier in the show, start to think about different ways of possibly taking profits, right? Whether it's having something tangible you're striving for. I know some people posted earlier in the comments they're aiming to buy a home or to travel the world. Just having something tangible, take profits, take care of that, so that way, if there's ever a correction, you'll have no regrets, right? So basically, as we mentioned earlier in the show, sell in May, go away is not necessarily the case. However, by May, you should have no regrets with your crypto portfolio if there's a correction, meaning that you've done whatever you have to do, you've taken care of business, and you're good to go, right? You want to make sure by May you're at least playing with house money, right? That way you aren't really salty if there's a bear market or impending correction. With that being said, let's wrap up the show. Bill, any last words to our crypto family?
Friends, we wish you well out there. And just a brief reminder from the old days of the stream. The best portfolio for crypto is the one that helps you sleep at night. So if you lost sleep or you're going to lose sleep tonight, adjust your portfolio accordingly. Trust yourself. Don't panic, but sleep at night.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest, any last words to our crypto family?
Normally, I say something along the lines of manage your greed, manage your risk, take profits, be smart. But for this one, I think I'm going to end just echoing my bullish sentiments that I expressed earlier about Ethereum. I truly think that Ethereum is a really big deal right now, and what they have on the roadmap is an extraordinary feat in the cryptocurrency space. So I'm very bullish on Ethereum.
Yeah, also very bullish on Ether as well. Now, I'll just reiterate what I was saying before. Have a tangible goal you're striving for in crypto, and once you get to that threshold, take care of that goal, right? So for me, for example, my goal is when Ether goes to 5K, I'm not selling my Ether, but I'll definitely use that as collateral, either on Liquidity or Celsius, to then borrow on that Ether and then just buy something nice, right? Whether it's, a Lambo or anything else, but I know when Ether hits 5K, I'm out. Not necessarily out of Ether, but I'm definitely going to leverage my Ether as collateral to take profits, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to sell my Ether. I learned from the last bull run, it's not good to sell crypto, especially crypto you believe in long term. I mean, hopefully, ideally, what I'm looking for is for some platform, hopefully Celsius, to add Helium network as possible collateral, because then I can just leverage my Helium, because that I don't plan to sell either. However, I think you definitely want to have something tangible you're striving for, because all of us are here in crypto for a reason, to make money, right? So, but we can't forget to take money. However, we have to realize that there are other ways to take money without having to take money, right? As mentioned before, Celsius, Liquidity, other platforms, but have something tangible. And once you hit that tangible goal, take care of that goal. With that being said, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next weekend. And as usual, join us at tokenmetrics.com. And as we like to say, the moon is not the limit to the moon and beyond. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you, crypto family. We'll see you next week.
Life-changing money to a point where you can buy your mom and dad a brand new house, right? You can pay off your college loans. You can invest in your future, not have to work again, pursue your dreams, your passion, not have to have a job, work that 9-to-5 grind, right? Break the system, hack the system. This is what this show is all about.
They said relax, but never retire. Feeling detached, never inspired. They told me relax, but I can't retire. I'm feeling detached, never inspired. Like I would live on, but never alive. You know the system, AM till 5. They try to say our jobs and give on. They living a lie. Now here's the mission, die or decide. The corporate life is so redundant when your freedom isn't free. It comes to being someone, just believe that you can be. And how can I have hunger when they tell me when to eat? How can I lead others when they tell me who to meet? Then they tell me when to come and then they tell me when to leave. They say how much to give and then forget how much I need. It's the precious to succeed with the lessons of the greed. I question who to be and saw this messages in me. I gotta know.
Life-changing money.
I wanna work for myself, I gotta work for myself, I gotta go.
You can invest in your future, not
Raise
have to work
spirits to the
again.
moon, put nerves on the shelf, I gotta know.
Pursue your dreams, your
I
passion.
wanna stay free or want the safety, I gotta go.
Break the system, hack the system.
Although they paid me,
This is what the
they
show's
never
all
made
about.
me. I wanna relax, forever retire. I wanna detach, I'm feeling inspired. They told me relax, but I can't retire. I gotta detach, gotta decide. They got me thinking I would live on, but never rely. You know the system, AM till 5. They try to say our jobs and give on. They living a lie. Now here's the mission, die or decide. Do or die now. Hey, I will never be a wage slave. I gotta stay made. Hey, I used to see this in the 8th grade. Wasn't a day late. Hey, I found the love that I was seeking, life that I'm leading. Hey, now I can do this every weekend, cause I'm a free man. I was in Tokyo, riding the job wheel, the rodeo, dancing with the devil for payment. I couldn't do-si-do, but I was driven. The mission gave me an open road. Made a decision to whip him like it's a motor show. 6-figure slave, I was paid, wasn't well though. Heard of crypto underground, it became my railroad. Started making earnest money, it's for whom the bell tolls. Went from wishing for sales clothes to sales. Now I can relax, forever retire. Now I'm detached, forever inspired. Now I can relax, forever retire. I had to detach, had to decide. And now I'm thinking I can live on and not just survive. You know this system, AM till 5. They try to say our jobs and give on. They living a lie. I made a mission, die or decide. Do or die now. Crypto retirement, yeah, that's where my mind went. Started thinking higher, now they can't hire my time spent. No, not retire like 65 when your job ends. More like an island, and if I'm by it, I buy it. Free travel, dealership, sweet dabble. I reign like Leeds Castle, you reign like Seattle. We went from sheep cattle to eating beef and mackerel at feast. No lassos, just beliefs me in a saddle. You gotta know.
Like life-changing, like
You wanna work for yourself, you gotta work for yourself, you gotta go.
not have to work again.
Raise spirits to the moon, put nerves on the shelf, you gotta know.
Pursue your dreams, your passion.
You wanna stay free or want the safety, you gotta go.
This is what the show is all about.
Although they paid you, they never made you. Now we can relax, forever retire. Now we detach, forever inspired. Now we can relax, forever retire. We had to detach, had to decide. And now we know that we can live on and not just survive. We left the system, AM till 5. They try to say our jobs and give on. They live in a lie. We made a mission, die or decide. Do or die now.
I'm here to put you guys on and share all the different resources and tips I come across in my journey to making $1 million and making $1 billion, right? I'm trying to share this with the world for free. I'm not here to sell you some $2,000 course, ebook, webinar, whatever, right? I'm here to put you guys on the game for free, open source, right? The same model as blockchain, Bitcoin, or these cryptocurrencies. I'm here to share everything with you guys.
Tokenmetrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.